Everyone. For those of you who do not know who I am Tom Williams, the Chief of Police for the City of Winona Police Department. Behind me I have several members of the department as well as from the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, our prosecutor Phil Prokopowicz, Christina Gillespie. I was making sure she was here. Obviously, from a law enforcement standpoint, we are extremely relieved of the verdict, finding Mr. Fravel guilty on all 4 counts. To say that this was a huge undertaking would be a great misunderstatement. The number of man-hours that went into this by law enforcement from many different counties, state agencies, and we cannot be forgetful of the number of citizens that also stepped up to the plate to help us with this investigation. Mr. Prokopowicz accepted the offer from the Winona County Attorney's Office to assist with the prosecution of this, given the magnitude and the original difficulties associated with the case, obviously with not having Maddie's body. Throughout the entire process, they have been extremely helpful throughout the prosecution. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension assisted us at every turn. The Winona County Attorney's Office realized the depths that this would take and asked for the additional assistance. We worked on this case pretty much every single day, even after the arrest, the recovery of the body, as well as preparing for trial. The family was outstanding to work with, and I say that from a standpoint because to try and imagine the loss of a daughter and not knowing where she is and asking law enforcement for their assistance and putting us in a position of trying to find her and determine what exactly happened, and the ability for them to understand that there were certain items that we could not discuss, parts of the case that we could not provide to them, and their understanding that justice would be served in the end. So with that, I would open it up for some questions. And again, thank you to the media for helping us get the word out. Again, thank you to the jurors who provided their time away from their family and deliberated and came to what we feel is obviously a successful conclusion.
Is this going to change the way you guys potentially handle cases like this, missing persons, domestic abuse? Like, what are you taking away from this as officers?
I think that from the get-go that we handled this very well. And again, I don't want to make it sound like we're tooting our own horn, but oftentimes law enforcement look at missing person cases and say they're adults. They don't need to be required to be entered as a missing person. They have the ability to go off on their own. However, Katie Kolka realized immediately that there was something wrong, and she called law enforcement, and by 9 o'clock the next morning, we had our entire investigative unit at the law enforcement center. We contacted the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, who immediately dispatched office agents to assist us, and the investigation took off from there. From a standpoint of an investigative piece, you always try and take something away from that, and I think that ultimately we will sit down in the days and weeks to come, talk with Mr. Prokopowicz and Ms. Gillespie, see where they feel that law enforcement could have been a little bit stronger, and also from a law enforcement standpoint to stand back, take a look and say, what did we do very well, what didn't we do so well, and hope to God that we never have to do it again. Well, the Winona community, obviously they want to have a safe environment. They want to have a great place to raise their kids. One of the reasons that Maddie moved to Winona is that she felt safe. She loved the area. The community came together immediately. They started organizing search parties before we did. We had to try and harness that energy, and our emergency management director, Ben Klinger, was outstanding when it came to harnessing that, helping with the searches, and then allowing law enforcement to actually do the investigative piece of it. I think it's a win for the Winona community to understand that when you band together and you work as a community, that ultimately you can have good things happen, even out of a tragedy such as this.